Hi guys. I am armed with tea. I know it probably doesn't mean anything. Forgive the mess that I look. I just stepped out of the shower not too long ago. I felt rather awesome and I wanted to, I don't know, I guess somewhat look awesome. So my interesting and crazy day today. The other day, while I was going through filing thousands of applications, I put in an application with Kroger. Now, to give you context, I have put in an application with Kroger at least 25 times in the last 10 years. And they're just one of the harder places to get into. They really are. And, I mean, it looks like it shouldn't be that hard, but it really is. Didn't think anything of it. Just blew it off. So when I got a call from them yesterday, I was completely gobsmacked. Just completely. I'm like, okay. Only downside is it is for produce, which I'm like, well, okay, because I know the pay isn't that hot, but it'll get my foot in the door, and I know that you can move up. In fact, this is something I even asked about. I started to go, no, and then I'm like, oh, wait a second. It is Kroger. I have been putting in applications for 10 years. It's something. It'll pay the bills. And I can hopefully move up. And I asked her about that. So, interview is today at 3. I get in there, whole rigmarole, and, and she asked me about myself. I always hate that. I never know how to answer that. So, I answered all the questions as best as I could. I told her a little bit about myself as best as I could. I really hate questions like that. And she was all, we got to the end of it and she was all, you're really overqualified for produce. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Because I told her, I'm like, I've been searching for the last 2.5 months. I'm either overqualified or I'm underqualified, and usually underqualified because I don't have a degree. But I have experience of 20 years in all manner of departments, most of them guest service related. And told her, once you've been 12 plus years at a hotel, they won't even look at you. I mean, it has gotten to the point where they drool over my resume and yet set fire to me on my way out the door just because they take one look at me and see dollar signs. But she was, and I told her, I'm like, I've been going through Career Builder, and she was like, oh my God, Career Builder is just the worst. I'm like, well, it's the only place I've got to go. And she was like, they just, she was like, so how'd you come across us? And I said, oh, I just put in an application. I really didn't think you guys would even be calling me. And she said, well, you were seriously overqualified. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not hired then. I mean, the paperwork's all there. Technically, I'm hired. And she was like, well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back to the site. I want you to click on careers. I want you to put in your resume. And I'm like, is there anything specific? She's like, just put in your resume. She was like, then I want you to call these people. Here's the number. This is what districts they run. And she was like, we have an HR right up here, right up the road from me on Ormsby. And I'm like, okay, I know where that's at. That's probably about a good 10, 15 minutes away from me, but I can handle that. I'm sitting there going, worried about my car, but, I didn't say anything about that. And she's like, well, sometimes it takes up to 6 weeks. She's like, but these are the ladies you want to talk to. And she's like, and here's my number. I want you to call me afterwards. And I said, well, can I use you as a reference? And she was like, oh, absolutely. She was like, please do, absolutely. I come home. My husband's like, well, that was quick. And I was like, I got a job, but I don't have one now. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? So I'm going to fix myself some tea. I'm going to log on to Kroger. And I told him what was going on. I'm going to log on here. I'm going to put in my resume. I'm going to call these people. And he was like, go ahead, get your tea. Make sure you take a minute. And I'm like, oh, man, what happened while I was gone? And he was like, well, here's the reason why. I just hung up on the phone 5 minutes ago with Office Team. Which Office Team is a temp service that, I've been with for like the last month. And it just, okay, yeah, I'm just not going to get anything here either. He was like, she has a job that you can start tomorrow. So I called her up, and she was like, yeah, I've got this job. It's data entry, payroll processing. They just need to be caught up. It lasts about 6 weeks. It's definitely a temporary job. And I said, well, I said, I've got another company I'm looking into, but it could take about 6 weeks for this to happen. She was like, that's perfect. She was like, and, you know, hey, if you get this new job within 4 weeks, that's fine. That's great. Just go ahead, let us know, and we'll assign somebody else in there. I'm like, okay. So, I'm like, give me about 15 minutes, I'll call you back. I want to make sure I have everything arranged. So I put in, clicked about, because, oh gosh, it was such a big pain in the butt, trying to find anything in careers. I think I accidentally hit something that has to do with tech manager. I'm like, oh my god. But, it's in there. I went ahead and called the ladies, only to discover they left for the day. Called the lady who referred me, only to discover she left for the day. So I'm like, okay, so tomorrow morning when I get up at ass o'clock in the morning, it looks like I'm going to be leaving a lot of messages and hoping I can reach people during lunch break. So I have a job, because I, called office team right back, and I'm like, okay, yeah, where's it located? It's located right where my tax man is. So I know exactly where it is. I don't have to hunt all over Louisville. And I can get there in about 15 minutes time. I know all the shortcuts to get there, so I don't have to encounter traffic. So, needless to say, I am completely over the moon right now. I am over the moon. I only have 4 obstacles left. One of them being I need to pay my net and my phone. One of them being I need to pay my rent. I need to go ahead and I need to pay off the shifter of my car and then come up with $400 so I can bring it right back into the shop and have her head gasket replaced. I know those are rather small goals to a lot of people. They're big goals to me right now. After that, then I can worry about keeping all my bills monitored, and then I have the fun time of dealing with Value City Furniture, who has been screaming for my blood for the last 3 months. I already know my credit is completely shot. I told my husband, I'm like, if you want me to think big, you want me to think big and positive, I already know 3 days from now, Publishers Clearinghouse is going to knock on my door and tell me that I won. That's a big shot. That's a big shot in the dark. Probably won't happen, but that's a probably. Until then, I'm probably going to be pimping tarot readings, because, I've got to pay my rent. So I'm going to be a busy bee, coming home at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon, and doing tarot readings if I can. So right after you get done with this post, which was overly long and probably not very informative for the fact that I put a video up here, I probably could have typed it, but I'm lazy. I'm going to be doing a tarot pimp. Yeah, still, well, that was my day. I mean, sorry. Oh, we thought we lost our video card, but we didn't. There's just a kink in the cord. And I still need to update my prompts for 11D King. It was a good day. Got a job. I start working tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed for me, guys. I do want to say thank you ever so much for all the good wishes, all the good luck, all the hugs and cuddles. I mean, 2 jobs in 1 day. That's massive. That's huge. So I definitely want to do a big shout out to all of you for holding my hand throughout all of this and giving me good wishes and giving me love. I don't think I can ever repay you for all the help that you've given me. But just know that I do thank you and I love you. And hopefully I will have even better news to report here very, very soon. Just, watch this space. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Take good care of each other. And know that I'm thinking about you.